Hello. Hi, Marlene. I think that's who's on because I see you wrote me a note. I don't understand what it means, but I think it means have a good day. Let me see. Let me put it into my phone. Let's see what those words mean. I have to ask ChatGPT. Comprometida. Comprometida. Committed. It's Portuguese. Okay, so now, what does Raviol Quintero mean? Is that a person? Okay. Maybe it's a person.
Recording in progress.
It's a really amazing one. It really is amazing. Can't send it to too many people, otherwise they'll cut me off. But the Mendel Kesem said that Mr. Trump, he made a mistake. He's made a mistake. He was going the right way and he's been sidetracked. So,
okay, here's Robertson. Yeah,
right.
the Robertson.
She also loves Rabbi Kesem. She's the one who got me into Rabbi Kesem, and she's got this too.
Robertson, have you got this book?
No, I didn't get it yet, actually.
Okay, please don't, because I'm going to get you one.
Okay, that would be nice.
Okay.
I didn't hear the full share. What was the mistake that President Trump made?
I've sent it to you with Rabbi Mendel Kesem. It was beyond amazing. I'm only halfway through. Beyond, it's just exactly as it is. Exactly. He knows about Hashem. Oh, I'm not giving the shit. He knows about Hashem because, as we saw with the bullet, it just pierced it. He does know, but the Satan has got to him, and he forgot what he was supposed to be doing, and he's been sidetracked by the money and the other things. That is it in a nutshell. But there's no way I can tell you what Rabbi Kesem said. I've sent it to you, both.
Yeah, I'll listen to it. I'll listen to it. I'll listen to it. Okay,
so we are doing I've said on other groups. We are learning this morning, and I don't know if Giselle managed to get on here, but we are learning Le'ilun Nishmas Levi Ben Yosef. That is the father of my lovely friend Giselle Senior. No, okay. We said we'd be learning for her. Anyway, she sponsored the share for this week, and Ezra Hashem, we should just have good things, and everybody else with our referrers, our Yeshuas, and all of our people that we have on our list should just be Zeifer to the Yeshua that we all desperately need. Ezra Hashem and Ephraim ben Chebet Roshel. Okay.
Okay, that sounds good. Hashem knows what he's doing. Every one of my students from America, from New York, called me, and she said they're coming in January to get someplace to live here. So we'll see what happens. Where are we up to in Tehillim?
We finished, didn't we? Did we finish 5? Will somebody help me? I think we finished the period number 5, and then we were going to start. We finished and we're starting period 6.
Okay.
If we're going in order, unless you've changed.
No, we're going in order. Don't say it.
You never know.
Don't give me an opportunity to not go in order. I want to force myself. And again, I want to say that even though Tehillim is not written in order, and I have to figure this out 1 second. No, I'm not going to do it now. Even though Tehillim, that the form that we have Tehillim in right now, is not in the order that David HaMelech wrote it, and it's not in the most powerful order, nevertheless, it is in a particular internal order. And so that's why I took the liberty of going out of order for all of these years. And now, maybe, we'll a little bit go in order. We didn't do Perek Vav at all? No? Okay. Okay, so Perek Vav is actually for people who are not well, who are sick, and who need a refuah shlema, and people who have who are surrounded by enemies, and who need salvation and saving, and people who have suffering, and that's basically covers everybody in the world, right? And everybody who's feels far away from God. That's what this Tehillim was written for. And the Midrashim tell us that David HaMelech wrote this Tehillim when he had made an error. He made a census. He had counted everybody. You're not supposed to count Jews, and he had counted Jews, and because of that, there was a lot of suffering. There was a magefa, and he realized that, and he did tshuva. And this is one of the things that he said when he did tshuva. And Chazal tell us that this is a Mashiach perek. We'll see in a second why. You sure we didn't do this? Oh, because I just taught this to someone in another school. That's why it sounds familiar to me. Okay, this is a Mashiach Tehillim, and as I heard the beginning of Rabbi Kessen's shir, just the very beginning of it, the first 2 or 3 minutes, and he says that we're in that the same thing as when it was in Yetzias Mitzrayim. You know, there were good days after we knew that we were going to be redeemed already. Then we had ups and downs until the final redemption. It wasn't like we think. You know, you'll hear the shofar and all of a sudden, boom, everything is perfect. Until that happens, there's times of clarity and times of cloudiness again, and times of quiet, and then times of the opposite of quiet. So Hashem has to protect us. You have to daven. You have to pray very hard that what happened in the south should not happen anywhere else in Eretz Israel, because they're talking about that, and it's very, very unsettling. This is something I'm not going to even, I don't even want to talk about it, but just daven that everybody here should be safe. But we daven that you should be safe. Well, the people in Chutz La'aretz should be safe. And so we see that it's not about location, you know. It's not about location. I have a friend who had a brother who never got married. He was very paranoid and very anxious, and he never got married. And he went off to live off the grid, as they say. And he bought like a property in America, in like Oregon or Washington State, someplace in the middle of nowhere. And he lived off the grid. He didn't have electricity. He didn't have, he made his own. He had a generator, and he really did. He was so afraid to live with people. Now, this story happened about 35, 40 years ago, maybe. He has since passed on, but it's not like you can escape. There's no place in the world that's safe to be an observant Jew. And what's life all about if you're a Jew and you're not observant? It's like, what's the whole point? So we have to trust Hashem and keep praying. Hashem, we see these, even though this is not a parsha share, but I'll just tell you quickly. From the Parshas Hashavua, the Torah portions that we're reading now in the beginning of the book of Bereshis, we see that our nation began just with a series of miracles. We were not supposed to be born. There was no way that Avraham Avinu and Sarah Imenu, our grandparents, could have children. And we were born through miracles and through prayers and miracles and miracles and prayers. That's how and faith and trust. That's how we were born. We were born because Sarah Imenu never gave up hope. Avraham Avinu never gave up hope. That's how the Jewish people survived all these years. We survive against nature, because who's in the back of nature? It's Hashem. And so Hashem wants us to survive. We're going to survive. Our job is to do our job. That's our job is not to bring Mashiach. I know people are going to, let me just finish that sentence. Our job is to bring our life to the highest level that we can of closeness to God. And that in itself will bring Mashiach. Our job is not to think about schemes. What can I do? How can I bring Mashiach? Our job is to live our life, the life that Hashem gave us, each person, and with our family, with our circumstances, with our job, with our body, with our situation. Our job is to take that and then to bring God into that, and then to see God in that. That's our job. Our job, some people have a global job. I will agree, for sure. I don't know that any of us that listen to the shir are any of those people, unless I have all these hidden people who are listening. But our job is you live your life in your house with your family and with your neighbors and with your constitution and with your weaknesses and with your strengths, and then you bring God into that, and you laha'ir, you smile to every Jew on the street. Here it's easy because every person on the street is Jewish. So when you walk in the street and you smile to all the ladies, you see that they're all responsive and it makes them happy. That's our job, not to think too big. Okay, so let me show you how come this is a very messianic Mashiach Tehillim. Vav. First of all, Vav is in Hashem's name, right? Even though, again, David HaMelech scrambled up the Tehillims. He put them, the order that we have now is the order that David HaMelech wrote it when he rearranged it. And he put this Tehillim as Perek Vav. So that means that it has significance as Perek Vav. It's not the sixth one that he ever, because Vav is 6. It's not the sixth one that he ever composed or said or lived through, but it's the sixth one that he put here. And the 6 in Hebrew has many different connotations. The 6 sefirot that lead to the 7th sphere, the 6 days of the week. Vav is one of the letters in God's name. Okay, here. Lamanatseach b'neginot al hashminit mizmor David. All of these are words of, these are all Kabbalistic words. I know you think that they're, in the English it translates it as, to the chief musician on the instrument called the Neginot, which had 8 strings, and it was a song by David. That's how the English will translate it. But we're learning deeper. We're learning that each one of the introductory words to every Perek of Tehillim is telling us what energy, what sefira David HaMelech is accessing and giving us. So the word Lamanaseh has a sphere of Netzach. This is a teaching from Rabbi Yitzchak Ginsburg that I repeat all the time. He taught this 40 years ago, that all the 10 words in Tehillim, the 10 names of songs in Tehillim, the 10 introductory words are all the 10 sefirot. So the Lamanaseh is a sphere of Netzach. It means it gives us the strength to proactively overcome any and all challenges. That's the word Lamanaseh. And even though in the Hebrew, it translates it as to the conductor or the chief musician. And Rav Hirsch translates the word Lamanaseh as to Hashem, to God, who is the chief musician of the whole universe and who overcomes and is the conductor and is the ultimate victor in everything. So the Rav Hirsch says this is to Hashem. And Kabbalistically, it means in the sphere of Netzach, which was the sphere that Moshe Rabbeinu and archetyped, and for the women, Chana archetyped. Netzach. B'neginot. Neginot means a song. Now, the Rashi holds that anytime we have a word in the first pasuk of Tehillim that sounds strange, it's probably a musical instrument that was extant in the time of David HaMelech that right now we don't know about. And that's why they'll translate it as Neginot, or Neginos. That was the musical instrument that he was playing. But in terms of the Sefirot, this is one of the few times in the whole book of Tehillim that the word Neginot is used as an introductory word, and it means the sphere of Tiferet. Tiferet, Yaakov Avinu, and the female version of that was the Devorah HaNeviah. Tiferet means compassion, it means beauty, perfection, that's Tiferet. So we're accessing the Netzach and Tiferet. Now Netzach is the fourth of the spheros, Tiferet is the third of the spheros, so we're going from the bottom to the top. Al Hashminit. Now, the word Shminit means an 8-stringed instrument. It could mean, usually the Shminit is referring to Bina. Bina because Bina is the 8th sphere from the bottom. That's how they usually refer to. The 8th is usually from the bottom up. And Mizmor is the sphere of Gevura, the second of the sphere, right underneath. Well, not right underneath Bina. And LeDavid is Malchus. So the whole pasuk is all the spheres. Now, how does that work in terms of what it does in our neshama? And you see how it goes up and down and up and down and up and down. It's not like easy, but we're accessing tremendous energy by saying this parak of Tehillim. Whether you understand the Kabbalah of it or not, it doesn't matter. So we just learned all of the spheres that we're engaging, that we're receiving from, that we're activating when we say this parak of Tehillim. Now, I will tell you that the Tzaddik, the Yanuka, my Rav, says that the Shminit is there's right. I think we learned this, that there's, everybody knows this. In music you have 7. I don't know what you call them. What's this? 7 notes.
Notes, 7 notes. Yeah.
Notes, yeah.
That's what I was going to ask you, actually. I was going to say, does Shminit mean the 8th note? That will come with Mashiach.
There you
Pitch.
Yeah.
7 pitches.
Pitches, notes.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, Yehuda Bati knows that. Okay.
Because it's called an octave, but there's 7 notes in it.
Octaves.
And if you have an 8th note, then it's not an octave anymore.
So you
it would be, I don't know what you call it, a 9.
Right. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Right? Those 7, whatever those are called, notes, octaves, pitches, in every tone, you have 7 levels. Then you go to the same thing on a higher tone. So you go do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, then do again, and that do, and I don't know where those words came from. That's I don't want to sing it here online because we have, I don't know who listens. But there's a 7 pitches, 7 layers in our music. All music on planet Earth has 7. David HaMelech knew 10. When Mashiach comes, we will be able to learn 8. I don't know if we'll ever get to the place of David HaMelech. He was the musician, right? He was the chief musician of Hashem in this world and in heaven and all of the levels. And so he knew 10 in his life. That's what the Ram said. We're going to hear 8, and 8 is always in the Maharal teaches by Hanukkah that 8 is Lamala Miderech HaTeva. It's above nature because we have a 7-day week. We have the 7 Kochvei Lechet. We have the 7 Midot, all the 7s in the world. And 8 is above that, something above that. So 8 means miraculous. That's why we give a bris milah to the baby boy on the 8th. I'll read it in a second, Mommy. on the 8th day, because in order to show that it's a mitzvah that helps a man become l'mala miderech hatzeva, above nature. That's called the Shmini. So it's a stringed instrument, like a guitar. A guitar now has 6, violin has 4, a harp has lots, and there's going to be an 8-stringed instrument that each string is a different octave, a different key, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? That's the keys on the guitar. So then they have minors and majors and chords and all of that. There's going to be an 8th. Could you imagine if all the music you ever heard in your life, if the sum total of all the music that exists in the world is based on 7, and now Mashiach is going to come, there's going to be an 8th sound that we presently cannot hear. We can't hear it, we can't perceive it, we can't comprehend that it exists. There's going to be an 8th. That means there's going to be a lot more music. I don't even know how to do the proportion of, how to figure out how much more music. It's not going to be like we're going to have double the amount of music in planet Earth. We're going to have an infinite number more of musical possibilities by adding an entire new spectrum of sound. That's called the Shminit. So it's a very, very high teaching. This parakah, even though it's going to sound very simple and very kvetchy a little bit, but it's very, very high. And sometimes the simplest Tehillims, sometimes the simplest, the easiest words Tehillims are the deepest. Sometimes. There are a lot of Tehillims that are very complex, and the wording is not, the Hebrew is not the kind of words that we use in our daily conversation, and the concepts are hard, and David Melch makes up his own words and makes up his own grammar. But this is easy words, and you're going to see it's powerful. Okay, so now we're ready. Fasten your seatbelts. Hashem. Al ba'abcha tochicheni. Now, again, I'm going to tell you that with all of that intro, this is going to sound like very kvetchy. It's going to sound like very mundane and practical and difficult. Doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with that. It means that sometimes what does Hashem want from us is just to be real with Him. When you do His bodhisattva, when you talk to Hashem, you have to be just real with Him. So Hashem, don't yell at me. Don't show me that you're angry with me and yell at me. Be'apcha, the word af means anger. It's from the word nose, right? Charon af biblically means an inflamed nose. It has nothing to do with congestion or anything like that. It means when a person gets angry, they get all flushed. So it's an anthropomorphic word that means anger. Hashem, in your anger, don't tochiach. So lehochiach means to rebuke me, to give me musar, to give me, put me down, or even to give me direction and guidance in a more critical way. Somebody said a very nice pitgam the other day. I liked it. They said, consider criticism as a free session with a personal trainer. When somebody criticizes you, right? We don't like it. Nobody likes it. People usually don't like it. But if you think about, let's say you want to excel in something. You want to get a job. You want to train for a job. You want to train for something in sports. You want to try a new recipe. You want to figure out how to talk to one of your kids. And you go to a professional to help you with that. You have a particular question, and you need guidance from a professional. So, and that costs a lot of money. So imagine somebody criticizes you. You get it for free. You get direction and criticism and direction for free. You didn't have to pay for it. You didn't.
I said not to paint where it comes from.
And honestly, the Rebbe Reb Zusha answered that question. He was once walking in the road in the Ukraine, and some Ukrainian farmer was trying to load a bunch of hay onto his wagon. And Reb Zusha was a skinny guy. He was not built, he was a weakling. He was a regular yeshiva guy. Pale, frail. So this big giant bulvan of a Ukrainian said to him, hey, Jew, help me with this. Pick this up on my help me pick this up on my wagon. And he couldn't help him. He tried. He was huffing and puffing. He could have gotten crushed under. Wasn't help. He tried, but he couldn't help it at all. He couldn't budge it. And the Ukrainian peasant gave him a kick, and he said, "If you really wanted to pick up this hay, you would have been able to." And so the Rebbe Reb Zusha picked himself up, and he said, "You're right, Hashem. If I really want to pick up the hay in your name, if I really wanted to elevate you, if I really, really wanted to bring the Gula, I could do it." So if he took criticism from a Ukrainian peasant, Rabbi Nachman says, we can listen and hear. And I don't like criticism. Believe me, I'm my ego gets very easily bruised. I don't like when people criticize me and critique me. I'm telling you very honestly. But it's a message from God. Okay, then you have to evaluate it and see, is it true? Is it reflective of the person that's speaking? Was it reflective of something else? Do they need me for whatever? Everybody has to face. There's no blanket rule for that. But the Rebbe Reb Zusha took criticism from a Ukrainian peasant. Hashem, Hashem, please don't rebuke me that you're angry with me, and don't send people to me that's gonna rebuke me either. And Hashem does. Hashem doesn't send us an email, saying you're in trouble. He sends people to rebuke us. He sends situations to rebuke us. And in this situation, the Chazal tell us, is because David HaMelech got sick. He got ill. He was sick. And he was sick for a very, very long time, and other people also got sick. And that was the push that got him to say this. And therefore, he said, don't rebuke me, don't criticize me, don't hurt me, Hashem. And don't give me tiyasreini, means to give me yisurim, to give me suffering. But chema is the same thing as af. It means fury. When you're angry with me, Hashem, don't cause me to suffer. In other words, don't be angry with me. Don't be disappointed with me. And don't cause your anger and disappointment to harm me in any way. And we've learned, since we're learning Tehillim for many years, we know that when a verse in Tehillim has 2 or 3 verses, and 2 or 3 phrases, and they repeat for the first phrase, the second phrase is a repetition basically of the first phrase. So David HaMelech does that. Why? For emphasis, and to try to drill this into us, and to try to repeat it to Hashem. When you say please, 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 please. How many times do you say please to Hashem? So here he said these words: don't punish me, and don't rebuke me, and don't be angry with me, and don't let me feel the result of your anger and of your upsetness with me. Elama, what? Chaneni Hashem. Instead, give me a free gift. Chaneni. The word chaneni. Remember we said before that Chana is the female prototype, the female archetype of the sphere of Netzach, right? So what does Chana mean? What is Chen? Chen means grace. It means beauty. It means charm. It means that something that you can't put your finger on about a person that draws you to that person. And there's sheker hachen, there's false chen, and there's true chen. So the word chaneni means be gracious to me, Hashem. Show me your charming side. Show me your gracious side, your compassionate side. Chaneni is connected also to chus. Chus v'chaneni. Chus rachem is connected to rachamim. Rachamim v'chanunim. All those words come together in the entire Tanakh, and also in our siddur, in our prayers. It means have compassion on me, have mercy on me, show me a little grace, give me a longer rope. Don't punish me right away. Chaneni Hashem, I'm asking you, so Pasuk Bet said, don't be upset with me, and don't show me anger, and don't punish me, and don't give me suffering. Ella, and then Pasuk Gimel says, instead, be loving to me, Hashem. Could you imagine if we could say to a person, Don't be angry with me. Instead, be loving to me. If a person's already in the place of anger with you, normally the most we can expect is don't be angry, or let's call a truce, or let's call a timeout. But to say to somebody in one sentence, please don't hurt me, and the second sentence right after that is rather love me, it seems like it's impossible to do that with a human being, that we should expect a human being to be able to do that. But David Melch is saying that to Hashem. We say to Hashem, please Hashem, help me. Don't punish me. Just love me. Ki umlalani. Why? Because I'm all by myself. The word umlal means miserable. It means, in modern Hebrew now, the word umlal means miserable, sad, and misfortunate. But in the commentaries say it means, I have nobody in this world, only you. So you can't leave me, Hashem. And you can't do anything that's going to deprive me of your presence, because I only have you. And they say about the Balatanya, when he would do his bodedus, because even though the Balatanya was a Lubavitcher, right? He was the first of all the Chabad Hasidim. He was the first of all the Chabad. He created Chabad. But he did his bodedus like Breslov. He was a contemporary of Rabbi Nachman. And he said he would talk to Hashem. And you know what he said in his bodedus? One time he revealed it. He said, Hashem, I don't want this Olam Hazeh. And I don't even want your Olam Haba. I just want you. Just you. Just you. And that's what he got from David Melch. David Melch says, I have nothing in this world, just you. And by the way, it's not such a hard level. Because even if you're surrounded by 1 million people in your life, but ultimately, it's just you and God. Because only Hashem and you know and understand you. We don't understand Hashem. Only Hashem understands Hashem. He's really alone. Okay, but he's Hashem. And he loves us, and he created us to be with him, so to speak. But only Hashem and you know you. You could explain yourself. You could go to every therapist. You can have a husband you're married to for 70 years, and he thinks he knows every single. But he doesn't. And you don't know everything about him. There are certain things that only Hashem knows about each person. Ki umlal ani means it's only me and you, Hashem. I'm desolate. I'm empty. I have nothing but you, Hashem. Rifa'eni Hashem. So please heal me, Hashem. Ki nivhalu atzamai, because my bones are behala. Behala means confused. It means bewildered. It means unsettled. It means not well. My whole body is shaking and trembling. And that's what happened to David HaMelech. Most people don't remember this about, if you say it, they remember it, but most people don't remember that King David suffered from physical illnesses during his life. He had an intestinal illness that kept him in bed for years. Could you imagine? And he had to rule the kingdom and his family and do everything. And he suffered so much. The Gemara, the Talmud says about intestinal illnesses, how painful they are, and how it's the worst. And he suffered from such an illness. And one of the Prakim told me, he says, one time his fever got so high that he was drenched in sweat. And they had to keep changing his sheets because he was just like everything was soaking wet till he was sweating and sweating. Now we know that sweating is good. It brings down the fever and it takes out all the toxins. But it's certainly no fun to have fever and to sweat. Especially the older you get. When the older you get, you feel really horrible when you have fever. I remember when I was younger, that was the barometer of could you stay home from school if you had temperature, if you had fever or not. And I remember having fever. My mother said, okay, you have 101, you can stay home. And I would watch TV all day. Like I was okay. Okay, I felt yucky, but I didn't feel like now an adult that has 101, whoa, you feel like going, you don't know what hit you. So Hashem, please love me. because it's only me and you. I'm cut off from everything else. The word umlal, such a good word. We don't really use it. We don't really want to use it. But the word umlal, from the root of that is mal. Mal means to cut away. I'm isolated. I'm cut away from everything in the world. Just you, Hashem. So that's why you say this parak of Tehillim. If somebody needs a refuah, if someone needs a healing, then this has been a traditional Tehillim to say for them. If someone's nivhalu, if someone's mixed up, if someone's confused, you could say this parak of Tehillim for them. If someone is frightened, you could say this parak of Tehillim for them. If someone's going through something strong, it's a very short Tehillim, it's not long. You could say for someone. And by the way, in the middle of Tehillim, you could, or in the beginning of the Tehillim, you could say, Hashem, I'm saying this for the refuah of, whatever you want to say. We're learning for the refuah of Yaakov Yishai Ben Nomi, and anybody who needs a refuah. You could put anybody's name here, and you could say it even in the middle of Tehillim, even after you say this pasuk, you can say, and Hashem tishlach refuah shlema. Mamish, in the middle of the parak of Tehillim, you could say, please Hashem, send a complete healing to, and say the name. You could say the name in any language that you want. In the YouTube, I get all these people are sending me notes, and I can't even pronounce their names. It's different languages. Someone sent me a whole thing in Portuguese, and I tried to put it into ChatGPT, and it didn't give me a correct translation. So shalom to you, Marlene. Could you figure out how to say what you keep sending me, the same message, say it in English, if you could. Because it looks like you know a rabbi called Rav Yoel Quintero. Is that true? Is that who you descended from? And also, I don't know what that picture means that you sent me, the picture. Somebody else sent me a picture. Anyway, say the names of people here. This is why you could say this to someone who's confused. And if you're confused, you say this. My soul is completely bewildered. Nivhala, the same word as we had before. My bones are bewildered. My soul is bewildered. What does it mean that your bones are bewildered? It means everything feels like you're falling apart. Nowadays, we have that perfect expression that David HaMelech was looking for in Hebrew. We call it, we're falling apart. A person is falling apart. Here he calls it nivhalu. But it's basically you're falling apart. Your body's falling apart. Your mind is falling apart. Your emotions are falling apart. You're falling apart. That's what it says here. Nafshi, when it says my soul, nivhala ma'od, is falling apart. Our soul can never fall apart. Our soul is perfect. It's perfect, right? But our emotions, our mind, we could feel like we're falling apart. And we could feel very disconnected from our soul. For those of you who are not yet keeping kosher, you should know something. For a Jew has to keep kosher. Because every time a Jew eats unkosher, it makes a barrier between his soul and his consciousness. And we want our soul to be directing our life, not buried someplace deep, deep, deep. That's why, I was, years and years ago, I had this thought. Remember when we were little, nobody was on a diet. Everybody liked to eat. Okay, so I'm 100 years old, so at least at this point. So, but there were no food issues years and years and years ago. Then I remember when I was in high school, all of a sudden, there started to become like these ideas of diets, and it started talking about losing weight and being a certain size. And that was, they hammered it into us. They made us all the media and the world made us conscious of certain things that normally we wouldn't be conscious of. And so the idea was born, right? There were all these different diets and eating plans and ways to live your life, and logic went out the window, and extreme things went into the window, into your life. The grapefruit diet, just eat grapefruits all day long. Like, what kind of stupidity is that? or just eat brown rice all day long. What kind of silliness is that? So, but I remember telling my students here in the day, one of the greatest things that happens, a positive outcome of the whole world of diet and food consciousness is this consciousness, the concept of vegan and vegetarian. And now, when the girls go back to their families, instead of starting to, have fights about kosher, they just say simple, I'm vegan. And when you're vegan, they applaud you. When you say you're kosher, sometimes they don't applaud you. So I say, just be vegan. And for a while until I figure it out. But Nafshini Palmod, so I'm going crazy. I'm falling apart, says Zabanach. And Hashem, how long is this going to be like this? Now, you know that Ad Matai, the way that the Chabadikim say is Ad Masai. How long is the exile going to be? Ad Masai. How long are you going to let us go through this crazy exile? How long do we have to know? We thought that we finished with Iran, and now they're starting all over again. And we thought we finished with Hezbollah, they're starting all over. And now we thought we finished with Hamas and Gaza, they're starting. Well, they're not starting so much all over again, but whatever. It's not simple in the south now. And now we're worried about the Yehuda V'Shomron, and even Yerushalayim Kodesh. We know that it says the prophecies about Yerushalayim Kodesh, and we're feel like, how long is this going to be? How long is this exile going to take? How long is this going to be that people suffer and people are sick and people have financial worries and people have children worries? And how long? Ad Masai. So Ad Masai, Ad Matai, how long is the slogan by Chabad? Because the Lubavitch Rebbe, made a big deal about, talking about Mashiach and learning about Mashiach and trying to daven for Mashiach and Mashiach now and all of his campaigns to bring Mashiach. And one of his campaigns was to say this word, Ad Masai, how long are you going to do this to us? You're our daddy, you're our father. How long is this going to be? You see, the words are so easy. This Perek of Tehillim has so many introductory Kabbalistic levels to it, and the words and the ideas are so easy, so simple. They're not simple at all. It's very easy to say these words, and it's very easy to translate the words, but to feel them, to get them into your, to say them with your kishkas. Ad Masai, how long already, Hashem? Like one of my teachers, Rabbanit Zahava, she used to say, this is one of her tefillah that she made up. I loved it. She said, Hashem, aren't you bored already with this whole ridiculous exile and we make a mistake and you have to punish us? And aren't you bored already? Like, can't we move on to the next thing? I love that. I love when you can make a chiddush in a tefillah, when you can make a brand new idea, when you can like take a, try to convince Hashem in a cute way or in any kind of, in a logical way, anything. By the way, Lamanasech, the word Lamanasech, Rabbi Nachman says about Lamanasech is we have to try to outsmart God, so to speak. Of course, we're, to say that is ridiculous, to outsmart God. God is the beginning, middle, and end of everything. We are within God. The whole universe is within God. The whole universe is God, is God's consciousness. But Rabbi Nachman says on the word Lamanasech, he quotes the Gemara, he says, I'm going to sing to you who you want me, Hashem wants me, you, every one of us, to try to figure out a way to pray to him with something new that can convince him, so to speak, to give us what we want. Today I was saying, one of my hisbondos is today, so I was saying, Hashem, I don't know, I don't have a chiddush today. I didn't have a new way to ask you for what it is that I'm asking you. So just be good to me. Give me a matnas chinam. Give me a freebie. Give me a freebie. I don't know how to answer you, Hashem. I must say, how long? How long are we going to try to convince you to bring the Geula? And we don't understand what Hashem is doing now. We have no idea, but we do know that it involves the secrets of the souls of the Jewish people. We know it involves the secrets of souls of Jews who are on planet Earth right now who might not even know that they're Jewish. Hashem is trying to figure out a way to save and help and uplift and bring to tshuva every single human being, and to give everybody free choice. The choices are very clear now. We see that when anti-Semitism becomes a big deal, because everyone knows that it makes no sense. And there's nothing, I heard today that in your, maybe by you, is it one of your, one of the politicians in the UK is making a new party, and the whole thing is based on destroying Zionism. It has nothing to do with England. It's a guy from the UK, one of the famous names in the UK. Maybe he was a prime minister, or he was the opposition leader or something. And he's making a brand new party in England, in the UK, to run in the UK. And the whole premise of the party is anti-Zionism. What does it have to do with the UK? You have a lot of problems in the UK that you have to solve. What does it have to do with Israel? That makes no sense. When anti-Semitism comes, it makes no sense. What is it? It's God giving planet Earth and humanity the power to choose between good and bad. That's what's happening. That's what's happening now in terms of like Rabbi Kessler says, the messianic, process. How Hashem is bringing that Mashiach into the world. He's giving people the power of choice, and perhaps for the very last time, because once Mashiach comes, there's no more power of choice, and the truth becomes so clear that we don't really have choice, because you don't have choice right now. None of you have. We all have free choice, free will to jump out the window. Nobody would do it because it's a silly thing to do. So too when Mashiach comes, we'll all have free choice, but the ridiculousness of choosing incorrectly will be so clear to us that we won't choose incorrectly. Okay, Shuva Hashem Chalsa Nafshi, please Hashem, come back to me. Shuva Hashem, do tshuva Hashem. Could you imagine we say to Hashem, do tshuva, return to me Hashem. Chalsa Nafshi, strengthen me. The word lechaletz means two things. It means to be strong, to strengthen me. And it means the exact opposite. It's one of those words that has two meanings itself and the opposite. Lechalez also means to free me, to let go of me. So here, Shuva Hashem Chalsa Nafshi, Hashem, return to me and free my soul from these crazy, stupid difficulties, and at the same time, strengthen my soul to come close to you. It's one of those great words that has, both connotations. But the idea is when we say to Hashem, Shuva Hashem, so Hashem says, Shuva Alai v'Ashuva Elecha. You come to me first, Jewish people, you do tshuva, then I'll come back to you. And then we say to Hashem, Hashivenu Hashem Elecha v'Nashuva, you bring us back to you first, and then we'll do tshuva. So we're having this back and forth conversation for 5,786 years. Who should take the first step? Hashem, you have to inspire us. So Hashem says, I inspire you every second. I'm giving you life every second. I'm breathing life into you. I'm breathing into you every second. My love, my life, my life force into you. So that's not help. That's not taking the first step. And we say, no, we need more than that. So we need more miracles. Hashem says, your heart's working. Isn't it a miracle? Your kidneys, you don't even know where they are because they don't hurt you. Isn't that a miracle? And we say, no, I want something more than that. I want more. I want really, really big miracles. Hashem said, all right, he'll do that also. But the fact that David HaMelech has the nerve to say to Hashem, Shuva Hashem, come back to me Hashem. Return to me Hashem. You ran away. And guess what? Hashem doesn't run away unless we do something to push him away. So please Hashem, come back to me. Please Shuva Hashem. Chaltanaf, strengthen me, strengthen my soul, free my soul from my gates of horror. And help me because you love me. Leman chastecha means because of your chesed, because of your love for me. Remember that chesed means love. Chesed and rachamim, they're all emotions of love. So help me. I can't help myself. I can't do anything. Now again, David Melch wrote this, he was on a sickbed. So you can imagine he's screaming, help me, help me, help me. Heal me, help me. How long do you have to say this parak of Tehillim until Hashem comes through? That's a mystery. That's the big mystery. Hashem knows exactly the time frame, and we have to trust him. We really have to trust him, and that's what life is. Life is all about every day waking up again and saying Moda'ani and saying, I'll try. Please, Hashem, come back to me. Please restore me. Please strengthen me. I'll try. And then tomorrow I'll try. And the next day I'll try. How long? I'm going to tell you something. Could be your whole life. You have to say this. And beg Hashem. We don't know. We don't know what's destined for us in this life. We don't know what's our mazal or our tikkun, our repair in this world. We don't know. We don't know if we'll ever get answered. That's not our business. Our business is to keep asking. And I know that's a very, very hard thing to swallow. And again, it's easy words for me to say. And by the way, don't think I'm perfect. I struggle with this exactly like you every single day. So we don't know how long we're going to suffer for, or how long we have to be in exile at my time. We don't know how long. But we know our job. Our job is to try and to talk to Hashem. That's it. That's our job. Our job is not to focus on the answers. Our job is to focus on our coming to Hashem. And we have to, and so right now, we have to accept that. Don't think that our prayers are like this magic potion. And if I say it better, if I say it longer, if I say it correctly, and with intention and with pathos and with power, no. We don't know. You have to let go of the need to know the end. We have to all let go of the need to have what we want. It's enough, the Ramban says, and the Rabbi Tzaddik Le'inuka says this all the time. The Ramban, Nachmanides, says in his commentary on the Torah, that it's enough that Hashem allows us to talk to him. That in and of itself is the biggest gift. The fact that we can talk to him. I can't talk to President Trump or to Bibi Netanyahu. Not that I really want to, but I couldn't get an appointment. You can get an appointment to talk to your king over there, that joker? No. So, but to Hashem, I can talk. I'm talking to Hashem right now. How crazy is that? To the King of Kings, of Kings, of Kings, of Kings. To the King who created the concept of kingship and kingdom. And he lets us talk to him. The Ramban says that's the biggest gift. That's the biggest answer to every tefillah. The Ramban says sometimes Hashem gives you challenges because he wants you to exercise that privilege of talking to God. We keep thinking, Hashem, you have to answer me, you have to answer me. The Ramban says, just keep talking. And feel happiness and comfort in the fact that you can talk, that you can address the creator of the universe. It's a privilege that we can't even fathom. Because if I die, then who's going to give this year? There's no mentioning you. There's no teaching about you. There's no bringing your life into the world, your presence into the world. If a person dies with death, there's no more. The person who dies, that's it. They have no more contribution. Who needs that? Everybody has something that's special about them. Don't make anybody die anymore, Hashem. Nobody should die anymore. Say amen to everything I'm saying as you're in your own houses. Nobody should die. Nobody should be sick. Nobody should be weak. Everybody should just be focusing on the Creator and our relationship with Him. And of course, to give help whenever you need it, wherever you need it, and whenever you're needed to help the world, to help people, the chabed, to honor people, to respect the Tehillim and Lakim in people. We don't have to like people and respect people because we like them. You have to respect the person because God created that person. And they might be really, really annoying, but they're not They have the Tzelem Elokim. They have the structure that God created in them. So somebody goes down to the grave, they can't praise you anymore. I really so much don't want to finish this parak, and I don't know how to not do it. How many minutes do we have? So, there was a very famous teaching. I told the story last week, and the tzaddikim should forgive me, because I forget which two tzaddikim it's about. But there was a certain tzaddik who was on his deathbed. Did I tell this to you last week? It's okay, you're at the age where you forget anyway. There was a certain tzaddik who was on his deathbed. And another tzaddik, a rebbe, came to visit him and to be with him when he leaves the world. And the one who was sick said, he doesn't want to die, he doesn't want to die. And the rebbe said to him, why not? First of all, you're older, and you yourself are a tzaddik. You're going to go into a good place in Gan Eden, in heaven. Why are you afraid? You do tshuva. There's nothing to be afraid of. And he says, no, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. And he says, why not? Why not? And he said to him, this world, the Rebbe said to him, this world, what does this world have to offer you anymore? It's a place of misery and machlokas, and go to the hate. Go to the next world already. You'll be happier there. And the man kept saying, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And he kept giving excuses. I need to support my wife. We'll support her. I need to teach my kids. We'll teach them. He kept giving all kinds of excuses, and he wants to live. And the Rebbe didn't accept him. And then finally the man said, Rebbe, there's nobody who davens but for the Amud like me. There's nobody who's the chazan in shul on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur like me. When I daven, I put my whole heart and soul into it, and everybody cries and does tshuva. Who's going to do that if I leave this world? There's nobody to do that. I'm the only one who could do that. And the Rebbe said, you're right. Okay, stay. And he lived for another 20, 30, 40 years. If a person dies and there's no more mentioning of you, the person can't talk about you anymore. And in the grave, the person can't praise you. And every one of us has to take this as a from this second on. Use this lesson and use this. Figure out what you do just all day long. Say Baruch Hashem, B'chasei Hashem, Hodu Hashem ki tov ki le'olam chaso. Keep praising Hashem so that you can say this pasuk sincerely. If I leave this world, who's going to give the shir? If I leave this world, who's going to praise you? And by the way, you're going to say, okay, 1 million people could praise you. 7 billion people could praise you. But nobody's me. Nobody can praise you like me with my difficulties and my background and my Yetzer Hara and my personality. And I say Baruch Hashem, nobody can do that on the planet. Nobody. So let me stay here forever. I can't finish it. I can't finish it. There's so much more to say. So we're gonna continue this next week, Bezrat Hashem. You can make a circle that we finished up till Vav. Up to Pasuk Vav inclusive, and then I'm going to go back because I want to do this. There's another whole layer of this parak I want to do with you. So we'll continue Bezrat Hashem. Let me say hi to everybody. Don't go off. Don't go away. Don't go anywhere. Hi Dahlia. Hi Emma. Hi Ginny. Hi Ginny. I got your apology from last week. I said, what does Ginny have to apologize? They said she's very British. She's very polite. Hi Emma, hi Geraldine, hi Revisendal.
Hi, thank you.
Hi Marcel. Hi Judith Bati. I still didn't forget about you. Hi Pauline. Hi Katie. Thank you, sweetie pie. Hi Naomi. Hi Rebecca. Hi Shani. Hi Shella. Hi Shulamit. Hi Sarla. Hi Zoom user, whoever you are.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. 1 second. Who didn't I say hello to? Hi Katie. Did I say to Katie? Shall I said Sarla. Hi Sarla. And to Zoom users, whoever you are. Now, wait, let me read what you wrote because I can't read while I'm writing. I'll read the Zoom in a second. Yeah, good Shabbos. Thank you. Good Shabbos. Thank you. Okay, what did you write there? Okay, now wait. Yehudit Batia is our musician here. She wrote me a whole thing about music. I can't even read that word. The solfege, pitch names. Okay. Pitch, names of pitches. Okay, 6 notes. Okay, what does that mean? Later, though.
It means that they used Avodah Zarah Tehillim to come up with a system for teaching singing. So now that we know this, we have to come up with a Tehillim and use the first 6 or 7 phrases of some Tehillim that we know to come up with a Jewish version.
Because these words are Latin. These words are what you say?
Yeah, they're from a hymn for St. John the Baptist.
Ew. Okay, we're not using those again. Okay. You're very welcome to everybody. Good Shabbos, Besoros Tovos. Okay, now let's do Zoom. Now let's do YouTube.
I'm just going to say thank you, and good Shabbos to everybody.
Okay.
And thank you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Okay, sweetie pies. Good Shabbos. So you know what? You end the share. It's easier for me when you do that. Yeah?
Okay.
Okay, bye everybody. Good Shabbos.
Sorry, I just took in something for my neighbor.
Okay, you're allowed to be alive and do things for your neighbor. Have a good Shabbos.
Walking around with my
By the
computer.
way, I just want to tell you something. We're expecting the first rain of the season in the next couple of days. So that's
Yay.
Hashem. Yeah.
Ezrat Hashem. It's okay, we don't miss too much of that here.
Right.
Have a good Shabbos, everybody.
Good Shabbos,
thank you so much.
Good Shabbos. Okay. Now we're going to do, who's that? Hi, Sharon from Australia. And hi, Ayana. I don't know what that red face means with the blue hands. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I hope it's okay. You're sleeping through my shir. Okay, that's okay. Anyway, good Shabbos, everybody on YouTube. You should have a safe week, a healthy week, a godly week, a righteous week.